This overview outlines proposed changes to Canada's enhanced feed ban. These proposed changes are being shared for consultation and are intended to better align with the United States requirements. The purpose is to provide a high-level overview of the proposed regulatory changes and to support public consultation. It also explains what's included at this stage and what will be developed later. Canada's enhanced feed ban helps protect animal health and maintain food safety by preventing bovine spongiform encephalopathy, or BSE. Updating the framework also supports alignment with the United States, which is important for trade, and helps reduce unnecessary regulatory burden while maintaining strong safeguards. Canada has strong measures in place to protect animal health and food safety. These include controls on imports, restrictions on what can be fed to cattle, and rules that remove certain tissues from cattle at the time of slaughter. These tissues are called specified risk materials, or SRM. The global occurrence and risk of BSE has declined significantly, with cases now approaching zero worldwide and several countries implementing a feed ban that prohibits feeding cattle to cattle. Since 2021, Canada has been recognized by the World Organization for Animal Health as having a negligible BSE risk status. Canada's enhanced feed ban was introduced in 2007 when the BSE risk environment was much higher. Today, the epidemiological situation has changed, and current rules no longer fully reflect today's lower risk. Canada's approach also differs from that of the United States. At this stage, the proposal focuses on updating the regulatory framework. This framework would enable possible future changes to policy and guidance if the proposal moves forward. During this consultation, the proposed structure of the regulations and the overall approach being considered are presented. Detailed rules or operational requirements are not included at this stage. Those details would only be developed after consultation once a decision is made on whether and how to proceed. Under the proposed approach, a specific subset of materials currently managed as specified risk material could be handled differently. This subset, referred to as eligible SRM, could be redirected from disposal pathways and managed within the existing prohibited material system. This would allow for its potential use in products such as non-ruminant livestock feed, pet food, and fertilizers, while maintaining existing safeguards. This approach is consistent with how these materials are managed in the United States. Detailed decisions about how this would be implemented would be developed later, after consultation. Only eligible SRM would be permitted for repurposing. For cattle 30 months of age and older, these include parts of the head, such as the skull, eyes, tonsils, and trigeminal ganglia, as well as the dorsal root ganglia found along the spine. Another eligible SRM would be the distal ileum, a portion of the small intestine from cattle of all ages. Businesses such as abattoirs and beef processors could choose to separate eligible SRM for use in certain products. To do this, they would need a CFIA permit. Before a permit is issued, businesses would need to show they can safely separate eligible SRM from the rest and manage it under defined conditions. Eligible SRM would be handled as prohibited material when destined for non-ruminant livestock feed, pet food, and fertilizer. This means it won't be allowed to be fed to cattle or other ruminants. If an operation continues handling and disposing of specified risk material the same way it does today, no new permit is needed. Facilities can decide whether to make changes based on their operational needs, costs, or market opportunities. A new permit would only be required if a facility chooses to separate and redirect eligible SRM for approved uses. A permit would also not be required for facilities that choose to divert only the distal ileum from cattle under 30 months of age. Renderers, feed mills, and fertilizer manufacturers that receive and handle prohibited material would not need to obtain a new permit. Existing permits for other SRM activities, such as transportation, would also remain valid. Once eligible specified risk material has been segregated, it would need to meet the existing regulatory requirements for prohibited materials as per Part 14 of the Health of Animals Regulations. These include the prohibition on feeding prohibited material to ruminants, requirements for establishments handling prohibited material, recall procedures, record keeping, product labeling and caution statements, and compliance and enforcement. No regulatory changes to how prohibited material is handled are proposed. It's important to note that several key protections would remain unchanged. SRM would continue to be prohibited in food for humans. Feeding prohibited material, including SRM to ruminants, would also remain strictly prohibited. Unless an operator has been specifically permitted to process eligible SRM, these tissues would continue to be handled and managed as SRM under the existing requirements. In addition, the brain and spinal cord from cattle 30 months of age or older would not be considered eligible SRM. These tissues would remain subject to all current rules for control, handling, and disposal. In other words, the proposed changes would not affect the core measures that protect animal and public health. The following highlights some of the key benefits of the proposed approach. First, it would give abattoirs and beef processors the flexibility to make a business decision about whether to repurpose these tissues. This allows them to choose the approach that works best for their operations. Second, the proposal would build on the existing permitting system. The process can be streamlined and made more efficient for applicants by using what's already in place. Finally, it's important to recognize that strong oversight will continue through existing inspection systems. Together, these elements support flexibility for industry while maintaining robust safeguards and efficient regulation. This consultation is intended for all interested parties, particularly those involved in the livestock production, processing, feed, rendering, transportation, and waste management sectors, as well as veterinarians, governments, and the public. To comment on the regulations, visit the Canada Gazette website at gazette.gc.ca. From there, the proposed regulations can be reviewed and feedback can be submitted using the online regulatory consultation system. On the Canada Gazette website, scroll down and click Comment on Proposed Regulations. The consultation can be found in the Open Consultations section. There's a 60-day comment period. All comments will be reviewed and considered. To increase the transparency of the regulatory process, all submitted comments will be posted online after the consultation period closes. Comments can be submitted as an individual, an organization, or anonymously. Feedback will be used to inform any changes to the proposed regulations. Final regulations will be published in the Canada Gazette, Part 2 at a later date. This video was created with the help of artificial intelligence with human oversight.